Good evening, folks. 30 seconds to showtime. Grab your seat, leave your drinks to the bar. Hold your breath, put your hands together. We present Santa Fe's finest star, who has danced with the Mariner Guinea, who has dined with the Queen of Vermont. We trace the voyages of Sinbad, corresponded with the men who can't live to be. C'est pas la même chose que la vache qui rit. Et la vache est fort, mon ami.
And hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the G Spot. My name is Jeff with a G, and this is my spot. I always like doing this show where I get to bring on some nice, fun, and interesting people onto the show, people I've met or just I find fascinating. And so the person I have on today is actually a fascinating man I met at the last Great Southern Sideshow Hootenanny back when the world was normal or at least as normal as we want it to be. So the one, the only, the amazing Nathan McScary. How are you doing, Nathan?
Hey, Jeff, doing well. Thanks for having me, buddy.
I couldn't help it. Like once we found out as far as the stuff which we'll get into, stuff like that, as far as music and stuff, like I had to, and I had a great time hanging out with you at the Hoots, wandering around on that Sunday. With was it? Let's see, was
That was
that?
a trip.
That wasn't it. So it's the Monsters of Schlock, myself,
Yep.
Louis Fox, and Tom Wall, and yourself, just wandering around. While you and Tom looking at the rest of us like with kind of just that kind of shaking your head as we're all slowly getting drunk, searching for these dumb hats that Pepper had to have. Uh, so it's a lot of fun. And Sally Cinch is in the chat. Hello, Sally. Good to see you or hear
Kelly
from you.
Cinch.
Yeah, glad to have you watching. Good to see you like that. So what? How have you been doing?
Good. Yeah, it's definitely been some weird times, but I've got my day job. I've been working from home, telecommuting. So that's been working out. I bought a house about 2 years ago, so it's nice having my own space. And I'm a juggler, and I bought a house with 18-foot ceilings, so my practice hasn't been compromised. I'm very lucky in that regard. But yeah, I've had a little more free time writing, working on music. Only downside is, naturally it's, kind of a crappy time for the world. That's always sad. And, I'm a little out of shape myself, but it is what it is. Can't complain too much.
That's right. Yes, Nathan in the light. Yes. So that way it's Sally. Sally goes, Nathan in the light. That's right.
Illumination.
It does exist. And as I said a minute ago, I randered around with him on a Sunday during the day with so he does exist during the day.
A rare
Uh
appearance in daylight, a very rare appearance in daylight.
that's true. What part of the country are you in?
I'm from Southeast Michigan. I live in a place called Ypsilanti. It's just outside of Ann Arbor and about 40 minutes west of Detroit.
Okay, I know approximately where that is because I know a burlesquer who used to live up there. Like when I met her, she was still living there, which is like I think she wish I could remember. Uh, she well, I'm getting checked. I don't know what's over that. Vivacious Miss Audacious used to live up that way, so that's why she let me know what's going on. So anyway, I don't know what we're gonna talk about. How long you been juggling?
Oh boy. Well, that's kind of a gray area. I learned the basics. Let's see, it would have been about 18 years ago, but I've only been a juggler for maybe about 13 of those years because I learned just, the basic three ball cascade, and that was kind of it for about 4 or 5 years. And then I kind of started practicing beyond that and kind of blossomed and became, really, really into it. And that's when I kind of took off. So, yeah.
All right, that's cool. And I know you do other sideshow work because you did a give. Well, one is you were in the Southern Sideshow Hootenanny, doing your one-handed knot tying, which was really fun. That was a lot
Yeah.
of fun watching that. And then
Yeah. I
of
like
course you
that.
did, yeah. And then you did a thing for the Give a Hoots during Halloween. I remember us were like helping put that together and trying to figure out who to do for that Halloween show, and that you were like a given. Like, all
Oh,
right, cool. Yeah, no, literally, literally, that's how it was. Like, all right, cool. We need to plan for the Halloween show. So Nathan McScary, and then that's literally how it worked. So it was like really so.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. It was a good show to be a part of, and I mentioned this to you in our previous conversation, but I was really impressed with that whole series in general, the way it was edited and put together and produced. I mean, it felt like I was watching like some like late night like Monster Vision show with all the different clips and commercials. It was just spot on. So, I tip my hat to you guys and the rest of the Hootenanny. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Matt Griller, who's like one of the board members, and like I mean, his
Yeah,
day
man.
job is doing that sort of stuff, and then like Keita Saint Cyr helped put together all the graphics. So
Awesome.
they did the heavy lifting. I just broadcast it. That was my job, and then get people to come watch it. And so I did. I mean, there was over 200 people who watched it live for that show,
That
so it
is
worked
so
out really
cool.
well.
Now, are you
Yeah,
guys
I
doing
know.
that?
I think our plan is because people are starting to ramp up during the summer, so I think we're going to kick
Hmm.
back off to do more stuff probably in the fall
Okay.
once people kind of ramp down again. I know because a lot of the reasons because Captain and Maybell are they got lucky and are working a lot of the big tattoo conventions. So
I saw that. They have like tour dates, man. That's awesome.
yeah, so their availability to host is very small. So like right now we're going, all
Makes
right,
sense.
cool, and just letting people try to figure their lives out again. And so I think the plan is in the fall to do more stuff again. So I just don't
Cool.
know dates because once again I am the broadcaster, not the one that handles all that, which is still fun. Still fun.
Yeah.
Uh so part of the reason I wanted to bring you on the show because I think this will probably be the bulk of this because you are a magician. Cheers. Uh, musician. I've learned that's my fun thing to do is like I script talking, I just go cheers. So as the night
Clever.
progresses, I may be cheersing a lot.
Yeah, it's your show. You do what you want.
No, no, I kid, I kid. No, you are a musician as well. You already had a record out, and you just released a new one, which is called
Yes.
"The Real Weird Tiny Showman." Which,
Yep.
so just so you know, like on Twitch, it's got you and me. It's got our Instagram handles underneath us, and underneath you, it actually says "Real Weird Tiny Showman." Get it on your favorite
Ah,
digital platform. Uh,
perfect.
Yes, of course. I mean, it's one of those things like it's like I didn't have a link to go. All right, cool, go here. I just go. You know what? Go to your digital platform and get it.
Yeah.
Talk to Nathan direct if you want to get a hard copy. Uh, but yeah, I've been listening to it the last couple of days and I really dug it.
Thank you.
So let's talk some music. How because like
Sure.
what sort of music are you normally into?
Oh, yeah, I hate to be kind of the stereotype, but I'm all over the place with music. I'd say I discovered punk rock when I was in high school, and that kind of changed my life. Like I think it did kind of a lot of, teenagers that didn't really fit in. So punk rock has always been a major influence to me, and it continues to be to this day. I've also got kind of also had a soft spot for dance music, just stuff with a good beat. I like industrial music, you know, a little bit of like some of the more modern EDM, trance, hard style, that sort of
Mhm.
thing. And, even just some of the more less popular stuff like doo-wop and show tunes and just, you know, various things.
So so okay, so punk rock. What sort like who let's see you discovered punk rock. Now that's a very broad term for punk.
Sure.
What sort of punk rock are we talking?
Well, I'd say the number one band that really transformed me was the Misfits. And the reason for that specifically was I was kind of the weird kid in middle school and high school who would just sit through his classes, then go home and just watch horror movies all the time and read Fangoria magazines. I was just obsessed with horror since I was a little kid. And I kept hearing about this. This was before the internet was like really popular, so it wasn't as easy to find and listen to music. It was before streaming was really a thing. And I kept hearing about this band that was like a horror band. They made music, all not just scary music, but music about horror movies called the Misfits. Then at the time, they had gotten George Romero to direct one of their music videos, which turned out to be the music video for Scream off of their famous Monsters album after they reformed. And I was like, wow, this band sounds kind of interesting. It sounds like they're like really into horror movies, not just kind of projecting that image. And so I picked up one of their albums, CD, and I listened to it, and I was like, this is really strange. It doesn't really sound like anything I've ever really listened to before.
Hmm.
and it was like really lo-fi, and it took me a little while to get used to like the abrasive sound. But the more I listened to it, the more I kind of hooked me. I was like, man, this is like my tribe. This is like my sound. I really like this fast paced, a little aggressive, but fairly simplistic kind of DIY, and naturally the horror elements. And then that kind of I started branching off into other forms of punk rock. Some of the classic Ramones, Sex Pistols, and some of the more more contemporary stuff. I'd say some of my favorite bands now that are punk rock are I really like Rancid. I like the Exploited, Lower Class Brats. I guess one of the
Okay.
newer punk bands I like is the Interrupters. They're pretty cool.
Interrupters are really good. I really like them a lot.
They
Uh,
just announced a tour too.
all right. Hopefully they'll come this way.
Yeah,
Uh, now, like, yeah, I'm like you. Like, I go like everybody goes, yeah. What do you like? I go, I work. My stuff is all over the place, and sometimes I go, all right, what do I like this month? And then that's usually how it
sure.
goes. And like whatever I deep like, but that's just curious. I go listening to the album, especially the new one, even more so than the previous stuff is. Uh, I can hear so many different influences in it. With like basically you're naming off everything
All
I
over
can
the
hear, and
place.
literally it's like you're going, okay, so this. I go, yeah, that's all in that record. I mean, literally that's all in that record, and so I really think it's really cool. Because when I listen to it, and I mean this in the best possible way, and I hope this is not things like that, but for at least from the tracks, I go, if Dr. Demento was still really, really a thing, a couple of those tracks would just like land hardcore into it. So.
No,
Uh,
that's definitely a compliment from you, Jeff. Thank you.
I mean, like it's like listen, because I'm an old school. I mean, I used to listen to Dr. Demento since I was a kid, and so like literally like things like zombie juggling, for example.
Yep, that's
Uh,
funny.
Even the weird limerick song with like it couldn't fit like on radio, but that would definitely fall in that line of what the doctor would be into. So no, it's really cool. Did you was this based all around like during the COVID times, or did you were kind of working on this beforehand? This just
Yeah,
basically kicked you in the ass to do it?
yeah. COVID definitely kicked me in the ass, like you said. I mean, it was one of those things. Like I'd finished my album, Nathan McScary's Very Scary Circus in 2018, and I had a couple songs that were still written from that I hadn't recorded. And then COVID hit and I had all this extra time. So I was like, I'll start some project files, noodle around, see if I can fit any of these leftover songs into anything. And I started doing that. And then it just kind of like, I was home all the time. So I just kind of like fell into this habit of just, dinking around on my DOS system after work every day. And pretty soon I had like all these project files. And I was like, dude, I'm just going to like release an album this year. I mean, I hadn't planned on doing one this soon, but I just went through with it. And I think I recorded the whole thing from start to finish in around 8 months, which is a record for me. A record, a record for
Hey,
me.
it was a record for you.
Yeah.
Hey.
But anyways, that's the fastest I've ever done an album. I mean, when you do everything completely DIY, I'm usually looking at least 1 year from conception to completion. So this one was a lot less than that because, like I said, I'm home all the time. I've got the time. I'm a little sharper because I don't have to have all these obligations about running around and doing things. So it was just a little bit more of an organic process, which was kind of, I guess, silver lining to, the unfortunateness of what is going on.
Yeah, and you do all the instrumentation yourself, right?
Correct.
That explains why it takes a year. It's not like you're going, all right, cool, let me go Joe Schmo, drummer, Jackie McDacky, I don't know, I'm just making up names. Uh, Nathan McScary, so Joe McJoe and Nathan and Jim McJim doing all the other stuff. But no, I get that. So I like that, and so because I hear various instrumentation throughout the album, so and so that's why I asked. And so no, it's just it sounds good. So everybody, like now, not it's less you having people stare at me. It's Nathan. It's more about people staring at me. Uh, yeah, go pick up this record. It's available on all your favorite digital platforms to download and listen to. You will like it, so then you will purchase it from those said digital platforms. Now, you're also going to want a hard copy, so you're going to contact Nathan McScary right there on Instagram at Nathan McScary and say, "Hey, I want the CD. I want the I don't know, I want the 8 track. Get 8 tracks, so people can look at it. They can't play them, but they can look at it. Now, get the CD from him. I'm sure he'd greatly appreciate it. I'm all about supporting great and wonderfully talented and stuff like that. So it'd be great to do so for you guys. So buy it. Um, I also like the album because I was listening to it and like some of because there's several instrumental pieces which are really really nice and it's like weird kind of I can imagine you thinking about routines as you're making these songs.
And I actually want to expand upon that. So
Yeah.
that's actually one of the main reason I make music is because, obviously I enjoy it. I enjoy creating songs, songwriting, etc. But it's also kind of a twofold in the sense that, I am an entertainer, I am a performer. And so oftentimes I'll record instrumentals that I will have intent to create routines for. Now, it's beneficial when I'm doing it to my own music for several reasons. The first of which is it allows me to completely write a routine and music that kind of parallel one another in terms of their creation. This is as
Hmm.
opposed to if I have a song that someone else already recorded or an existing song, and I have to mold my routine to fit that, to kind of force it into this mold. It's a lot more work to do it yourself, but it enables me to kind of, finagle each component, whether it be the music or the routine, so that they kind of mesh together exactly how I want it to. And then, going even further, it also allows to kind of avoid any issues with copyright laws. Naturally, if you're performing to songs you didn't write, sometimes you run into issues with ASCAP, or if you have a recorded performance that you upload, you can run into issues with that if it's a copyrighted song that you don't have the rights to. So by doing this, I retain all the creative rights to anything I perform to. So that's kind of beneficial as well. And then I also like to kind of think, just as as a creator, it's kind of gratifying to get out there in front of people and do something visually that I created while sharing with them something auditorily that I also created. That's very moving for me.
Um, yeah, that makes it because you become the complete package. You create that full moment, and
Yeah, I mean,
so
it's just what I like doing, but it kind of works out for me, and I do it when I can.
no, I just like doing it. No, no, don't dismiss the fact that the idea of it's like you're creating that full moment from beginning to end. You're not supplanting somebody else's like kind of message into your own, and vice versa with like, using other people's music, which is still perfectly fine for those people to do so. But the fact is, you command and create this complete moment, creating everything involving around it, so that way you create all the emotions and everything like that. It's like being a filmmaker in a respect, as far as you're creating all of this stuff to kind of create. You're creating that thing, that good live moment or taped moment as we've been for a while. No, that's amazing. I think it's awesome. I think you're lucky in the best possible way to be able to do such a thing. So I
Yeah,
cannot do
when I
I
can,
yeah,
when I can.
I can't do music. So I just yell and talk to people until they just do what I want them to do.
That is
You
also a talent.
I guess so. Yeah, it's fair. I mean, that's just what I do is just go, all right, cool, do this thing. No, 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 do it. See, here. I'll do a dumb thing if you pay me money, and that's really I have to do that versus you who just create these great emotional journeys. I'm just shallow and just pick it up on the thing, or I help set up that emotional journey. So good for you. Just take it. Take the compliment, Nathan.
Appreciate it, Jeff.
So take it. I know you're trying to. No, it's fine. No, it is an amazing fucking thing. So the fact is, like, you're this great multi-talented person who do something like music and juggling and like all. No, the one-handed rope tying is like also fascinating, which is like a very that's not really juggling, but that obviously that's a skill set along with things. I think it's all awesome. I know you do some other stuff too. That's just cool. So, all right. So people who are in the chat, because there are people in the chat. If you have questions for Nathan McScary. Please drop in the chat so we can say so. Otherwise, we're just gonna talk dumb shit now because we've plugged
Okay.
stuff. We've uh, we've blown smoke up each other's butts. So now it's just like dumb question. I don't really have dumb questions, so it's a conversation back and forth. We talk about whatever.
Dig it.
I don't know. Yeah, anything you want to talk about?
Oh, there was one thing I did want to mention.
Yeah.
So I've actually been working on a writing project for the last 3 years, and COVID kind of enabled me to expedite the completion of that. Kind of like as I touched upon, spending more time at home, having a little more free time. So I've completed it, and I would like to. I've kind of soft announced it a little bit. I told Jim more about this when he recorded me, but I'll also announce it here. As I actually finished writing my first book. It's going to be a book about Sideshow, and it's actually a history book about the history of the Sideshow Geek Act. That's an act that
Uh,
has fascinated me my whole life. There's remarkably little consolidated information on it as it relates to complete tomes that outline its specific history. So I took it upon myself to create this, and I've got it more or less done. I sent the first manuscript to the publisher, and I just got it back. So a lot of red on it, got a lot to update, but that's to be expected. But if all goes correctly, it will be out by the end of this year, fingers crossed. And then I would like to give a shout out. The publisher I'm going through is Modern Vaudeville Press, who you might
yeah,
recall. That's our
yeah.
buddy Tom Wall.
That's our buddy Tom. Well, I figured it was either between Tom, or it's gonna be between Tom and Jim. I mean, because
Yeah,
Jim started with Vought Visuals, so yeah. I
yeah.
figured I go. I'm talking to Jim. I know. I actually I saw Jim the other day when I was in New York,
Oh,
and so we
nice.
we yeah. So we chatted again, and I'll be back online for his. Basically, he reached out to me. He goes, "Hey, you're in New York," because I was in New York for everybody who's like watching.
Yeah.
And so he hit me up and goes, "Hey, you're in New York." I go, "Yeah, I guess you want to meet up and kind of chat." I go, "Sure." It's my dog right here.
Oh, cool. What's your
Uh,
dog's name?
his name is Shinobi.
Moby?
Shinobi. His name
Shinobi.
is Shinobi. Yeah, he got in a border for the last week, so now he's kind of needy, and so
Aw.
he's just trying to sit near me. For the G spot, I sit on my couch, and so just because it seems more comfortable when having conversations. But anyway, yeah, Jim, we ended up having a good chat, and so really good guy. The Roses Royal Midgets is an amazing book. Everybody picked that up, and then he has his own book coming out, so that's gonna be a lot of fun as well.
Yeah.
So
Did he? I've read the Rose Royals, and I thought that was a lot of interesting information in there. When's his
yeah,
next book coming out? Did he say?
he's working on it. So like the original plan when I was talking to Jim is like he was actually going to do like a pictorial book about like some cool sideshow and circus stuff and like Coney Island-y, all that sort of stuff. And then because of COVID hit, it kind of put the kibosh on his book because that his publisher that he was going to be doing from originally they closed that wing of the publishing house, and
Oh.
so yeah, and so he goes, all right, yeah, yeah. So he decided he wanted to do. That's why he created Vought Visuals Press, and like the Roses Royal Midgets is kind of his first foray into publishing, and then he'll be doing. I think he's expected by the end of the year. I think it is. So it's gonna be really cool. We chatted about it for a bit. It was a really nice conversation. Like, and then he recorded me because Jim likes recording conversations to put on his website, thevaudevisuals.com. So
Oh, nice. Is your interview up yet?
not yet. I'll announce it when it comes up. But yeah, it's just me
Yeah, I'll
talking
check it
about
out.
my opinions on Sideshow for what it's worth. So,
Nice.
and I'm opinionated to a point, but I'm also going. These are the things I always make it say. This is what I think. So I don't go. This is what thinks. No, I just no. It was a good conversation. Had a fun talking to him about it, and so yeah, Jim's a great guy. So
Yeah, yeah. I met him at the Hoot the first time, and yeah, yeah. Tom was talking about. He's like, "Oh, you got to meet Jim. Jim's gonna be there." And I met Jim, and he was like the most like friendly, laid back guy. He was like hung out with him a lot, and yeah, Jim Moore, phenomenal photographer, just a wealth of knowledge and experience, and just a great guy. Great
yeah,
guy.
he used to be a mime.
Really, I heard he used. I think he was doing
Like,
ventriloquism at one point too, wasn't he?
I don't know. I like when I originally heard about it, I said it was a clown, which clown, which goes on mime, all kind of blend into a certain point. So I don't know. At some point, like when he gets closer to having that book release, I'm gonna bring him on the show to talk to him. Like I'm gonna turn the tables on him and talk to him about stuff because now I've done it
Yeah.
twice on him. So I'm gonna be the whole nerd, and then I'm gonna go, okay, so now what? No, it's a great guy. Everybody, BobVigils.com. Pick up the Roses Royal Midgets. It's a great book. Trav SD, who I've had on the show, a really fun guy to talk to. Also fun. I'd have like James Taylor did the foreword. I'd have him on the show, but he doesn't believe in technology. So unless I want to do smoke signals, it's not going to happen. Uh, I do this to make fun of James. He'll never hear about it, but that's still. I would do it if he was there next to me. He has like an old ancient flip phone.
Wow.
Yeah. And he only has it on him when he's out and about. If he's at home, that thing's like turned off and locked away. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's okay. Um, so we're only a half hour in. That's a lot of fun. So so what else do you want to talk about?
Well, yeah, why don't you tell me a little bit?
What's up?
Why don't you tell me a little bit about your time in New York? Can you talk? Let me ask you this: the show that you saw of Todd's, was that
Oh, hot.
public or is that private?
Oh, the Haunt Quest. No, you can buy tickets. It wasn't like I got some exclusive preview weirdo
Okay, no, tell me
because.
about it then.
Uh,
I'd be curious to know about the show.
all right, so Haunt Quest is it's going to be on at least through I think the first or second weekend of June. So everybody still has a chance to go see it in New York. As today is the 20th of May, for anybody who watches this later. Um, all right, so it's a small, intimate show. Usually, it's about 20 people. And
Wow.
when you go, yeah, yeah. Well, it's just, I mean, a lot of it comes down because of COVID stuff, so they keep it small. And everything's set up like as you buy tickets. That's how they have seats divided up. So if they go out two tickets, they brought in, and then be 6 feet from you, be whatever the thing. So it's all spread out. That's why there's always 6 feet distance between all the seats and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So that's kind of cool. Um, it's kind of like a seance,
Oh,
kind of.
like
It's
is the
really
audience participating?
yes and no.
Whoa.
It's
Oh.
kind of real. It's I know it's something I go. It's one of those things that's really hard to explain unless you're a part of it, and it's very much a the way the show is set up. Actually, I would say the experience is set it up because that's really what it is. It's designed to be an experience. Um, and a lot of it's dependent a lot of it's dependent on the audience, and so Todd is there to help guide the audience in this experience, but it never know what it's going to be like from day to day because it depends on the people in the audience, it's depending on how it's going to roll. And so it's really interesting to see this sort of stuff. And he does some things that involves people in the audience. I got involved with some stuff. I also had like Hot Todd Lincoln was with me, and he got involved with
Hot
some stuff.
Todd. He's awesome.
Yeah, good friend Hot Todd. Yeah.
Shout out to
So
Hot
like that.
Todd.
Was it kind of like Play Dead? Only okay. So Sally Cinch asked that question. So it's in the extent that it's dealing with the supernatural. That is true. But while Play Dead involved a lot of props and shtick, for lack of a better term, because that's not exactly true, but there's a lot more moving parts, as it were. This one, no moving parts. It's like literally is he could probably like he could walk into a room that had 20 people in it and would do this show. He didn't require any setup, stuff like that.
Wow.
Um,
Is it a one man
uh,
show?
yeah, it's just him.
Hmm.
It's really really nice. I loved the show. It's really done. It like the because it was myself, Hot Ted Lincoln, and then Keita Saint Cyr,
Oh
who
yeah,
was my
Keith.
Keita, who was my host for in New York, and her boyfriend, who was his birthday. So I got them tickets. I got them. I was gonna go once I knew the show was gonna happen because I told Todd I would go. And then I when I knew I was going to go, I asked Keita if I could stay with her 'cause she already offered ages ago, and I just double checked with Keita, is it okay? And she goes, no, definitely. So when I came up, I bought basically for Adam's birthday, I bought them tickets to go see the show as well because they're the hosting me. It's the least I can do is buy the tickets to a show. Uh, no, it was a good time. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I recommend it thoroughly go in there with an open mind and be ready to see some weird shit. Because that's really the best way I can describe it. Is like some weird shit. Like things happen. I am like the biggest fucking skeptic, the biggest, and there's some shit that kind of weirded me out. So
Wow. Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned that. I've kind of had a fascination recently with the kind of idea of seance and are you familiar with the term bizarre magic? Do you know bizarre magic?
yes,
Yeah, so I've been reading a lot about that. I'm not really a magician myself, but I'm really fascinated by that approach. I think there's something really intriguing about setting that atmosphere. And there's definitely a hard line between, kind of the hucksters that are trying to, con people with, fake spiritualist stuff, but then alternately the skilled showman who's putting on these awesome theatrical presentations. And I think that's really cool. I really like the artistry behind creating that presentation and that setup. And yeah, that's such a fascinating thing for me.
that is definitely where it's at. It's like the art, like it's like watching the show, which I was totally involved. It's like watching the maestro, the guy who's crafting like just a master chef, just crafting this perfect meal. And watching them actually build it, watching this how he's doing it, how he's talking to people, how, even like so how the movements, everything. It's just I mean I absolutely loved it. But then again, like Todd Robbins is one of my most favorite people in the world. Um,
Man,
in
I
a
hope
lot of ways.
I'd love to see him live, man. That is so cool. You got to experience that like in person.
So here's the thing. I know we chatted with us beforehand, but I don't mind. So afterwards, after the show, like the original plan was for us by like the people I was with plus Todd, because Todd knew I was coming. He wanted to hang out and chat and stuff like that. We were gonna go to a local bar just down like 2 blocks over to have a couple of drinks and kind of just tell jackpots and go on with it. But New York, all the bars closed at midnight. The show started at 10:30. Guess what? Midnight, no bars. So they have now opened later, of course, after I leave. So I ended up meeting up with Todd on Monday, and we kind of
Which
chatted about
Todd?
all this stuff. Huh?
Which Todd?
Oh, Todd Robbins.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I had dinner with Todd Robbins, just me and Todd, on Monday, and we did bar tricks, including talk about stuff. So like the bartender, like because we sat at the bar eating and telling
Oh, you were
stories and
both doing the bar tricks for the bartender?
well, the
Oh,
bartender gave. So the bartender gave it like
so
basically we're just
cool.
yeah. So I mean, it wasn't a lot of stuff, but like, we're eating, talking, stuff like that, and so we're drinking, and like the bartender goes, "All right, cool, we're gonna buy this round." And I go, "Well, if you're gonna buy the round, I'm gonna do a thing." And so like I do my mousetrap drink shot. So mousetrap drink a shot. Uh, so and then of course Todd goes. So and like well he did some blockhead, which is still kind of cool. He just like grabbed a bar. I mean, so it's like that little thing, but I still got, all right, cool, I get to do a thing. And we just chat, like we chatted about all sorts of stuff. So it's like, so yeah, it was a lot of fun. I greatly appreciated his input about some stuff and just like learning some things about him that I didn't know.
So cool, man.
Yeah. So yeah, Todd Robbins. And then other cool stuff. I hung out at Coney for the day. That was nice.
How's that looking? I've never been, but I'm curious
I
how it's the
so
state
the
of it.
yeah, it's cool. Like so they haven't opened Coney Island, USA yet because being responsible people, and so they're basically they went all right, cool. If we're closed, we're remodeling. So they've been remodeling. I get the chance to go inside, still look at stuff and things like that, which was very nice. Hung out with a lot of the local sideshow crowds like Kita and like the Brides,
Oh
who've been
yeah.
on the show, who are amazing. Rob Romeo, Cherry Delight, who's a burlesquer turned rock star. She does some really good music. Miss Cherry Delight. I'll have her on at some point. Uh, she was a lot of fun. And then then I went and rode like the Wonder Wheel and the Cyclone, which is like the oldest wooden roller coaster in America and stuff like that. And so that was cool. Like being Coney my first time. Well, being in my New York my first time, it was just a magical experience. Like literally, I could not have asked for a better weekend and a better experience from top to the bottom. It was amazing. I New York really turned itself out for me, and I was really impressed. So I really liked it.
Now, is this kind of like a trip on a whim, or is this something you'd planned for a while, or what kind of brought this about?
So when I talked to Todd, because I had Todd on the show back in like June, and so like that's how I met Todd. I actually Todd Robbins. Let's go with Todd Robbins. If I'm gonna say hot, I'll say hot Todd or Todd Robbins. I emailed him, go, hey, I'm doing this thing. Would you like to be a part of it? He goes, sounds fun. I'll do it. And so we had a really great chat, and we're talking about show stuff and like that. And I go, hey, whenever you do another show, I'll come see it. And he probably didn't ever thought of it again and stuff like that. And so when I saw he was doing shows again, I went, all right, I'm gonna do it. And so I reached out to him. I just went, hey, I'm not asking for tickets. I'm just asking when would be a great time for me to come up. Because, I guess he told me to go later in his run just because he wanted to make sure everything was flowing right. So that way he like once he got the rhythm down, the machine was going, it's easier to step away versus like spending those first few weeks just trying to figure it out. So I go, all right, cool. And it timed out right. And I was talking to Hot Todd Lincoln, I think on one of the Great Southern Sideshow Hootenanny chats that we have. And I made mention of it. He goes, yeah, I'd like to go see it too. So I go, all right, cool. So if I fly into Baltimore, we'll drive up. He goes, yeah, I think I can do that. And so I just did it. I went, all right, cool. I went, this is what I'm doing. And once it's committed, that's how it works. As I said, when I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it.
Nice, man. How far of a drive is it from Baltimore?
It's like 2.5 hours, 3 hours.
Oh, wow, it's actually a lot closer than I thought it was. Nice.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. Like they kept telling me, oh, it's so far. And I'm just going, so I live in Texas. So to go from Austin, Texas, which is very nice, to go to the Dallas Fort Worth area, it's about 3.5 hours. To go to Houston, it's about 3 hours. I used to do those on the regular, so 3 hours. But most of the weird, but that's also one state versus traveling over three states, which is what we did there, which is kind of, and that was the only odd part about the drive. It's just I go, oh, I'm in Maryland, and now I'm in Delaware, and now I'm in New Jersey, and now I'm in New York. That's weird.
Yeah, that's sweet, man.
No, it's fun. I get a chance. No, don't think you get a chance. When you get the chance, because life's too short. Right? So yeah, when you get the chance, go. New York's really a lot of fun, and like Coney was great. Central Park was nice. I stayed in Brooklyn. Brooklyn was amazing. It was all fun. I definitely recommend it.
Yeah, never been to New York, but I definitely on my bucket list.
Well, that's why I had never either, which is why it became my bucket list. I was originally planning because I knew I was going to be taking a trip, and I was originally planning to go to Gibtown, but
Oh yeah, you were talking about that meeting up with Chris, right?
yeah, I still plan on it. But in the end, it became the I've been to Florida. But I haven't been to New York, and so like that was just been a casual thing. But like for me, taking trips, I always like having the thing to do. So like, oh, there's a show to go see. There's a thing I need to do. Like having that little anchor point, and then building the rest of my trip around it. I always like better. It just works better for me. So I'll
Sure.
go. I'll go see Chris probably. I think maybe July because I'm a masochist about going to Florida, but I've lived in Houston for 17 years, so it's not going to be any worse than living in Houston, so it'll be fine. Uh, so I'll probably go see him probably in like June or July.
Cool.
And then I'll drive down that one. That way I can just take my time, and the dog
Nice, man.
appreciate the travel. So yeah,
That'd be cool.
yeah,
Very nice.
yeah, very nice. Do you have anything lined up performance wise?
I do a lot of there's a couple bookers in the state that I always get like, private gigs and corporate gigs with. So I do a lot of private and small corpos in Southeast Michigan. I think three on my calendar right now, and I imagine that'll probably pick up in the summer. Mostly just outdoor strolling. It's pretty easy as a juggler to get those. Unfortunately, naturally, a lot of the more substantial stage and big event stuff kind of got axed. But, we're kind of in a state of flux right now, at least in the state of Michigan, because, we are one of the hardest hit states in terms of the recent spike. But now
Yeah.
things are thankfully kind of stabilizing. So there's a lot of big events that are kind of holding out on announcing if they're going to happen or not. So I imagine probably these next few weeks are going to be very telling, and it'll probably have an avalanching effect either way. So yeah, I got a few small things lined up, and we'll see what happens. I'm hoping by fall because yeah, I think it's probably like this with a lot of performers, especially sideshow. But like fall is just such a fun time to enjoy the Halloween season, and especially as a performer, getting all those fun Halloween gigs and Halloween shows. And I'm hoping by then it's looking a lot more stable because yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff possibility wise.
That's good. Let's get the local bookers. Have I know a lot of the other. If you're for the trout, like I'm assuming you're fully vaxxed, right? Let's start with that.
I I
Okay,
just
so
got my
just
second shot on Monday, and I'm mostly recovered, but it was a rough couple days.
that was me too. I was okay. Like literally, it was like 36 hours. I was okay, and that's good. Like basically, like oh yeah, the next like when you wake up in the morning, you won't feel good. I woke up the next day, going, I feel great. Happened to have the day off, and then by 3 o'clock, I wanted to crawl in a corner and die because all my joints started aching bad, and oh, not fun. Uh,
Yeah.
but but it's good. The only reason I ask is like there's things like me, like I decided to go. All right, cool. I'm gonna travel. Uh, well, I didn't book anything. I didn't book anything, but I ended up doing things. It's really weird. So I always had stuff on me, which is why hanging out with Todd, doing all right, cool. 'Cause literally, my jacket had like 7 mouse traps in it to do mousetrap tricks.
You just keep those in your
Uh,
jacket?
I do.
Oh, dude, that's sweet.
I also had a light bulb in the other pocket.
It reminds me of like the street magician who always has like a deck of cards that they're fiddling with and pulling out, but like you're like
I
the
have a
side
deck of.
with
I
the
also
mouse
have.
traps.
I also have a deck of cards.
Okay, do you do cards?
I do some minor card tricks, yeah.
Okay, nice.
So the first Sideshow Hootenanny I ever went to was the 2018 one. I
Okay.
wasn't even technically a performer yet. I just went because I just had a big catharsis with a big show I did when my wife died, so I did a show in her honor. And then like 2 weeks later, the Hootenanny happened, so I went to the Hootenanny. So I went, all right, cool. What can help me get over my shit? Which is good. Let me go party with clowns for like 4 days in New Orleans. Perfect. So I met AJ, uh, great, wonderful, like venerable sideshow carny guy, and I got a trick from him, and I learned a card trick from it. And I'd watch other people I noticed this afterwards, but I noticed when somebody got a thing, he go, all right, cool, here's the thing, that was it. And I sat down with him, mind you, I'm not a performer yet in sideshow at this time. I sat down, I go, all right, cool, let me show you the trick, 'cause I love magic. I've always loved magic. Tell me the trick.
Same.
He goes, all right, this is the track. This is the thing. And I go, oh, that's amazing. He goes, all right, this is how we can make it bigger. Spent like about half hour, 45 minutes on how to make it bigger, like stage worthy. Once
Mm.
again, not a performer at this time, but he took his time and literally said like that was like one of those things that kind of put like literally like AJ taking the time to do this extra thing. I think he kind of, it's like that weird kind of, I think he kind of knew, like, oh no, this guy's a performer, so let me show him more stuff. And so it was really cool. And so that's what got in. I still do, I actually keep that trick I keep on me. And so I can still pull that out anytime when I do it live.
Cool. Now,
Yeah.
are you how are you still pursuing performing pretty heavily, or is this just as they come up, or what's your kind of stance right now with that?
Well, now that I'm fully vaxxed, it's my plan is to get into more of that. But like when I moved to Austin a year and a half ago, like basically it was like I moved here that September before I met you. And so my goal was like, all right, cool, moving to Austin, essentially located in Texas. I'm gonna kind of get the feel for here. I'm gonna find a couple of spaces where I can produce like a show a month or something, and then
Oh,
I'll bounce out and do stuff. And then as I'm like getting to know people, I'm one of those type of people like I like to have conversations, stuff like that, making sure we're good and groovy. I don't want to like just go, all right, cool. Hey, this is a weird space. I'm gonna do a weird thing. I want them to trust me before I put a show on their
smart.
space. I go, hey, I'm just gonna make sure it's in good hands and sort of stuff like that. And so I had a couple of spaces I was lining up. In fact, there's one space I was gonna have doing a show. Like we were gonna final like basically when I was getting back from the hoot, we were gonna meet up and finalize details for like I think like a June show or something like that. But it's like that little we just went, it was like we got to the time where all right, we're gonna we're gonna figure out the financials of what's beneficial for us before, of course. And that bar's gone now. Uh,
That's sad, man.
so yeah, now it's like me. I go now. I'm fully vaxxed. I'm looking at stuff. I did do like the at that 2 week mark. I did do a live show in Houston. I plan on doing more stuff here. Austin's been really responsible when it's come to performers and COVID and stuff like that. So they've been a little bit slower about opening things up versus the rest of Texas. Houston's basically went, all right, cool. We're just gonna get started with stuff again already. Now, Houston's all about vaccinations. They just don't like being told what to do. So it's like literally where they go, no, we want to get vaxxed, but we still want to go get drunk. And so versus like the rest of the country, rest of the state, which basically don't believe in, or at least the small towns, they don't believe in the virus or whatever. So it's been just, yeah, Texas is horrible.
Hmm. Have you lived in Texas your whole life?
No, actually, I'm originally from California. Believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
But I moved here. But I moved to Texas at a young age and just lived here ever since. I plan to move elsewhere at some point. It just depends on what looks best to me when it's time to go. It's all about the journey, man.
Right
The
on.
VA journey, man. So yeah, you pretty much a Michigan go. So how do they call people from Michigan? Is there a specific term?
Michigander.
Michigander. Oh,
Michigander.
that's horrible. That's a horrible name, but
Pretty
okay.
bad. Pretty
So you're a Michigander? That sucks.
Yes. Not
Okay.
bad. Huh.
You know what? You have the name of your next record is Michigander.
Michigander. Real weird Michigander. Yeah.
Or Weirder
Yeah.
Michigander. There you
Weirder Michigander. Yeah.
go. So okay, oh no, that's cool. Yeah. So we got about 10-ish minutes to go. Everybody, once again, this is Nathan McScary, a brilliant juggler, sideshow performer, musician. You can actually pick up his record, The Real Weird Tiny Showman, on your favorite digital platform. If you want to get his physical copy, drop him a line right there on Instagram at Nathan McScary. Oh, Michigander, that's almost Yiddish, is what Sally Cinch says. Yeah, that is kind of yeah, that is almost Yiddish. That's a fair statement. That is a
That's
fair statement
funny.
right there.
Yeah.
Uh, I would not disagree with that. So, do you got anything you're looking like? So, you got anything you're looking forward to soon? I know you're doing like corporate gigs. I
Yeah.
know. Hopefully, festival season opens up. I know. I think
Yeah.
theater. Yeah, I think Theater Bazaar is pushed back another year. Last
That
I
hasn't
heard.
been where hmm.
Rumor had. Okay, don't get. It's not a hard thing. I've heard rumor that
Where'd
it's
you
been
hear
pushed
that
back another
from?
year. I got ways. Uh, I don't even remember who I heard it from. So I know a lot. I know some of the because I know people who work on other. My ex used to be somebody who used to be one of the suspension artists. So it's like a different circle effect. But it's one of those things that goes. It's not 100%. It goes rumor. I think they're just basically in the wait and see. But they're like kind of like go. All right, we want to do it, but they're already kind of
Yeah.
making. They already have their hand back. It's like and we're gonna. It's like it's not official, but like a rumor has it that Theater Bazaar may be pushed back another year, just to be safe, because we want to make sure everybody's safe. And in a place like Theater Bazaar, it gets weird, and in a way that things we don't want to have this virus spread, which would be really horrible. So.
Have you been to Theater Bazaar?
I have not, but I've heard everything between my ex and like Cecil the Sad Clown has done it a couple of times. I've talked to him about it. I've known a couple of performers who've done it, so I know what it is. I've told that the best way to do it, if you're just a person going to see it, go first night, which is the shishi night, because that's when it gets really weird, and the second night, which is kind of the casual night, which is not really what it is. It's still a great night. It's also good, but it's expensive to go like both nights.
Yeah.
What I've heard.
Yeah, it's a great event. Great event. I've
I've
been
heard
a few
good things.
times.
I've heard nothing but good things, and like basically once I heard about it, I go, yes, I need to be at this thing, and then I was planning to get like my I was getting all my ducks in the row to go I was going to go this past October, and well. Um, all right, so let's get the last bit of plugs out of the way. So Nathan McScary through Instagram is the best way to follow everybody to find you. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think Instagram is the best way.
Because I can actually see you doing stuff versus
Yeah,
like the facey space.
weird
Facebook
trick.
is usually Facebook is just weird ramblings from a madman, which is still fine,
Typically.
but yeah, but it's much more visual through Instagram. Uh, And then once again, pick up a copy of Really Weird Tiny Showman on your favorite digital platform. I have Apple, so I download it that way. Guess what? Spotify, you know what? You can download it there. That helps his numbers. So get most of them. That's fine. I think with Amazon, it's on SoundCloud. No, it's not on SoundCloud. I checked. But yeah, get it on all the major stuff. If you have Amazon Prime, it's free for you to download it. And guess what? That helps his numbers for later on. So download it on Amazon Prime. Get your little Apple service, Spotify. That way you can get those pennies on the dollar from all those different services. And then put it on a loop on playlists for Spotify. Just put it on the background. Just have
It's a
it
good
play when
idea.
you leave the house. Just, huh? Yeah, just
It's a
have
good
it
idea.
play. Yeah, no, it's like, or do things like I do for that sort of stuff with Spotify is I have it set up through my house, and so I'll leave the house with Spotify playing of all my friends to play music, and it just plays all day.
Dude, no, that's super
Yeah,
thoughtful. That absolutely helps the numbers. Wow.
that's the idea. So like, so if you're not home, just like play. Like I have a little Google Home thing, so I can play my Spotify off of it, and so I literally create playlists so that way it plays all my stuff. The Devil's Hour, the show I
Yeah.
do all the music I have on there, as far as from all the videos. I have a huge playlist, like 6 hours long now, because I've been doing it for like 62 episodes. And so I let that play all day sometimes too. Like it's all small artists and stuff like that to make sure they get help and taken care of. Because little bit helps. If I can help people out, I try.
Nice, man.
You
That's a
should
good
too.
attitude.
Yeah. And you should too, audience members, whether it's live or on replay, which I still appreciate you guys replaying it. But come on to the live side. It's all good. It's cool. We have cookies. I don't have cookies. Uh, all right. So let me get my plugs out of the way, then we'll get out of here. Maybe we'll chat a little bit afterwards. So coming on right after here is I have a show called Hit Random where I find these weird short films or weird stuff, and I show you guys it called Hit Random because you don't know what's going to be. It's going to be random. That's my idea. It's going to be fun, weird, groovy. Then on Tuesday, myself and Scabs the Clown, we have a great show called Gaffing the Truth, where we talk about conspiracies, cryptids, weird shit. So we're going to be talking about mummies, and we're going to be having Chris Broken, who's one of our Trash Fire Sideshow members, and we're just going to get weird because Chris Broken's day job is he works for a mortuary. So that's always fun. And then got a fun movie called Maniac afterwards. Then Planet Lisdom, Liz de Savoy, who's from out of Canada. She's Mysterion, the mind reader's partner, and she has a little talk show. And so I put her show on the show. Then Devil's Hour, which got some great stuff, including Miss Cherry Delight, who I talked about earlier. Some other fun stuff, a band called uh, Paris, Texas, and some other fun stuff. And then so on. And then next week on the G Spot, I've got Daddy Red, who's a clown out of Canada, who's going to be a lot of fun and interesting to talk to. I don't know him. I just seems interesting. I've seen him perform, and I know a lot of Canadians, and they seem to think he's all right. So we'll find out. Uh, so anything else you want to plug, Nathan, or have I already hit that really hard?
Um, well, yeah, that's pretty much it. Check out my album if you like weird music. Check out Modern Vaudeville Press. That's a great imprint. They have some good books on there, and
I do.
hopefully my book will be out there before the end of the year as well. And yeah, if you want to see some goofy juggling tricks and just follow me, check me out on Instagram. So yeah, thanks for watching.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, when that book comes out, I will be picking it up for one because I love sideshow history, as is evidence with the stuff I talk about, and so I can't wait to read that, and then maybe we'll bring you on and we'll talk about it because
Sure.
I'll talk geek show shit because that's fun. So everybody be safe, be cool, be groovy. Um, enjoy yourselves, and as always, keep drinking.